Hello, I recently got my Nakamichi 12-inch subwoofers in, and I thought I would post a short video for people that were thinking about getting them, what my thoughts are. And I will start by saying that when I got the 12s in, I moved the 8s. I have one back here behind the couch that if somebody is sitting there, I'll have to pull out. And then I moved the other one back there. Both of them came in pretty good shape. I really like the construction of it. It's nice and solid, has a good feel to it. The cover is magnetic, and I kind of like the yellow a lot more than I thought I would. And having the silver outline is a nice touch. I do like the feet on these. They're pretty solid. They're not going to go anywhere, and you can still lift under them, grab them, whatever. That one came in without any damage and looked fine. This one has a little bit, you can kind of see it right there, a little bit, it looks like a scratch, but when I rub my finger over it, I can't feel anything, so it might be under the surface. But then I kind of tilt downward, and you can see the outline here of I don't know, of the cone. And if I come over here and look at this one, you don't get that. There's no mark or cone outline. So I have contacted Nakamichi. They've been very responsive, and we're going through the options, one of which is a replacement. They said they'll have some replacement units in soon, and the other is to just do a price reduction, since they don't think that this is something that would affect its performance. And I haven't heard anything as far as performance wise, but I obviously don't have any calibration tools or anything to verify that there isn't something going on with it. But overall, I like the look. I like these covers. I tried it without the covers for a little while, and I liked how that looked. And I tried it with the covers, and that looks good too. And I do like the gold on top. That's a nice touch. This feels smooth and nice, but it's also hard, and I think it'll hold up pretty well. It wasn't too hard to get the firmware on there. That updated pretty easily. I do recommend, for not just these subs, but for Dragon owners in general, to get a USB extension cord and plug it in to the USB slot, so that way when you have to update the firmware, this is the USB stick that they sent along with it, you can just plug it into this cord, and you don't have to lift up the bottom of the unit to get the USB drive under there. It is quite annoying that there's no Wi-Fi to update automatically, but that's a good turnaround. So I got the subs for a couple of reasons. When I was watching movies initially with the Dragon, I, like everybody else, noticed that the subwoofers were, you certainly didn't feel them. You could hear them. They were pretty loud, but you didn't feel them. Your walls weren't shaking or anything like that. So I knew that there was an improvement to be made. But also, when I first started noticing the 8-inch subs bottoming out, it became more annoying. I noticed it in Furiosa, in one or two big scenes, big explosions, they would bottom out, and it was annoying. But then I started watching Ready Player One, and there's 4 or 5 different scenes where those subs are bottoming out, and it's a ka-thunk, 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 ka-thunk. And it was just, in this movie, very rapid fire. And it didn't just happen in one scene, it was throughout the movie. and it got to the point where it was just unplayable, and I'm like, okay, no. And that was the moment where I decided, okay, let's spend the money and get the new subs. They are a significant increase over the eights. You're not gonna feel them in your chest or in the air, but you will feel it if you're standing up. You'll feel it on the ground through your feet, and then if you're sitting in the chair, you're gonna feel it rumble through the chair. It is a much cleaner sound than the eights. And the way I think about it is that it kind of matches the Dragon in its clarity, as far as the bar goes, whereas the eights were, they just weren't as clean as these 12s are. So I like them. They're good. When I got them, I tried them out on a couple movies, and I started doing Edge of Tomorrow. And when that opening credit hits, oh yeah, there's it really it's like, wow, okay, there we go. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And I used Edge of Tomorrow as kind of my test bed, where I was going back and forth and checking the different setups, where I could do just the 12 or the 12 and the 8s. And what I found was that when I have all 4 subs going, there's a scene on the kind of in the opening few minutes where he's taking a helicopter in, and it sounds amazing. The helicopter feels like it's enveloping the whole room, and it's, you're feeling it in the chair, and that's great. But then the dialogue starts, and it's kind of a lot. It doesn't really, I don't think having all 4 subs really meshes well with the dialogue. And I've tried adjusting that a little bit by putting the 8s down to a bass level of 5 while keeping the 12s at 8. I like having loud bass. And that seemed to help. So that could be something that you toy around with and kind of get it dialed in to get a better feel. But then I just put on the 12s without the 8s, and I really enjoy that experience too. So I kind of think that that's the way I'm going to leave it, but I'm going to play around with it a little more. So if you already have a Dragon and you're thinking about upgrading, I would highly recommend it if you get 2 and replace the 8s with them. If you don't have a Dragon and you're thinking about getting one, I highly recommend not getting the 8s and just going with the bar and 2 12s. And then if you think that that's not enough, maybe you can add the 8s later, but I think that the bar and the 12s are a pretty good setup, especially if you're going with a sound bar like me. You probably don't want a whole bunch of extra subs. Getting 2 extra subs was certainly not in my plan, but I felt that the upgrade was worth it, and I'm kind of thinking that I will just eBay these 8s, and maybe get a couple extra $100 to kind of offset the cost. One other thing that I should mention is that there is a group of modders out there, one of whom has created a mod that allows you to take the component, the electronics, out of the 8s, put it into the mod box, and then connect that to another sub, such as an SVS. SVS PB1000s seem to be the go-to for that group. And people that have, at least one person that has gotten both the 12 and the PB1000 and sat them next to each other to see, hey, which one sounds good. He agreed that the the Nakamichi was a good sub, but said that the SVS outclasses it. Says it gets lower tones, that it's even cleaner than the Nakamichi sub. And the thing about the SVS PB1000 is that they are cheaper. They are around, I think it's around $800. If you buy two on Amazon, you get a discount. So I think it's $1,500. And I think there's another discount for Black Friday now, to where they're down to like $1,400. And then you'd have to pay for the mod box it's like $175 for both of them. And the only downside I would say to that is that you are paperweighting the 8s by doing that. And then you're not really, you're using a sub that people say are better, but you're having to kind of control it through the SVS app. And it's not directly, controlled by the, you can adjust the firmware, because you're when you adjust the firmware, you're adjusting the 8s. But it didn't seem like a very clean setup to me. Although some people swear by it, I decided to just go with the manufacturer direct subs. But it should be noted that, these subs are seemingly overpriced for what they do produce. They're very good, but my buying recommendation, if you already have a Dragon or if you're waiting, is to wait until these subs get below $1,000 a piece. I paid $1,200 as part of the opening sale. So it was $2,800 with tax, and shipping was free. I do think that is overpriced for what these produce. I definitely think that they're worth getting, but I think that if you can, and if you're not in a rush, waiting for that price to come down would be my recommendation. All right, well, thanks for the video. Thanks for checking it out. Take it easy.